Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, one and all, and welcome to a fantastic Friday Good Morning Walk. Unfortunately, I am at JCI UK's national convention this weekend, where I will be receiving essentially the chain of office. I am being made president of JCI UK, so that's going to be a busy year for me next year. So yeah, expect a lot of, shall we say, next year's Good Morning Walks potentially not to be on a Saturday. But Tilly the Coder, good morning to you. John, good morning to you as well. Is that cool? Calliope, good morning to you as well. But yes, good morning. Good morning to you all. And what a week. What a week it has been. Because I can't tell you just how long I think Rishi Sunak's going to last now. Dave W looks a bit brassy. It is a bit cold out, to be honest. The weather has truly changed for the colder. And of course, those of you who have been following my Good Morning Walks for a while will know that I regularly complain about my hands being cold and me needing gloves. Up to the coda. Oh, thank you. You've used your super chat. Excellent. People don't use that enough, Tilly. So thank you for using that. Like I say, remember to all the Pony Club members that you do get a free super chat per month as a member of the Pony Club. So remember to use them. It's not enough if you use them. But yes, Tilly. So, will Sunak lose the budget vote or adjust the deal? This is what we're going to be talking about, to be honest, Tilly. And I think at the moment, there aren't any severe rebellions brewing yet over the budget. At least not yet. What there are rebellions brewing over is the levelling up bill. Because in the levelling up bill, there's a big adjustment being made to it to put in. There we go. Hang on. There we go. So there's a big adjustment being made to the bill by these Tory backbenchers to take off what had been the concessions for more onshore wind. So this has now caused them to have a very significant rebellion. We've got up to, at least as far as I know, or at least at last count, according to some of the sources that I've read, there's estimated to be about 50, yes, 50, Tory backbench rebel MPs wanting to try and squeeze Sunak for as many concessions as they possibly can. So this is one of those crazy moments where Sunak, even though he is a Tory Prime Minister who has a majority of about 82, I think it is now. He's a Prime Minister that has a majority of 82, that because of these rebellions, he is having to govern as if he has no majority. That does not spell that does not make very good intentions for Sunak, because now he can't move. And it gets even more funny because there are other potential Tory rebels that are going to be annoyed at the fact that Sunak is making concessions to Tory rebels. It's what? Like, he has Sunak is the as the song says, he's got clowns to the left of him, jokers to the right, and there is Rishi Sunak stuck in the middle of a Tory party that, if any moment, could generally, I think, get rid of him. And there's a lot of stuff at the moment with the ERG, especially after last weekend, now being able to not feel that they can trust Rishi Sunak with Brexit. Oh, hang on. Oh, hang on, there you are, John. I think the perfect storm about Sunak is forming. Yep, exactly, it is. It is an absolute perfect storm on this. It's honestly, it's unbelievable. But he is now roughly he's in the same position that Theresa May was, except where Theresa May had lost her majority through the general election and had to rule like that. Sunak is in almost the exact but similar position. He has the overwhelming majority, but has to rule like he has a majority of none, because so many rebels are the cropping up like it's just literally emerging from the woodwork, like some sort of, you know, Tory Terminator. You know? And this effectively makes Sunak absolutely unable to do anything. The levelling up bill does look as if it's going to get delayed now, because they're trying to at least negotiate with these rebels. Oh, good morning, Haviland. Good morning to you. And as we said before, just a moment ago, you've got another group of Tory rebels who are annoyed at the fact that Sunak is making concessions to other Tory rebels. Like button smashed, excellent. What's this? Hugh, don't think we'll see Sunak on top of Snowdon with walking boots on, but fair play to Theresa. Honestly, he can't do anything. That's the thing. Anything. There's at least the slightest bit controversial, and the Tories will just kill it. Like, there could be a significant rebellion. And some of this rebellion, from what we've been hearing, or at least some of the talk of, is that Sunak may even be worried about having a rebellion of about 10 MPs. That 10 is enough to make him worried enough to either pull a bill or at least even give significant concessions. Like, how can he actually govern like that. And the answer is you can't. He just simply cannot govern like that. And it's not gonna take long. It's really not gonna take long for him to fold like this. This does not send very good positive messages. And with essentially parliamentary business coming to the close, next month, for at least this year, I still think next year we will see a general election. I think next year we've got a general election because Sunak cannot govern like this. The Tory party is so fractured, it can't even pass potentially even a very simple bill like the Levelling Up bill. And you've got Northern Red Wall MPs, that 2019 intake, because this was one of the fascinating points that we learnt recently. If you may remember, we covered the Henry Hill when he did his piece for The Guardian. And I looked it up, and you've got a lot of first-time MPs who got in 2019 saying they're not going to stand again. Imagine that. That's how little confidence they have. They're going to re-win their seat. It's crazy. But anyway, John, it seems Bozo has set many traps for his successors, like Hunt did for the next government. Yes, that's another thing we haven't really talked about. You are right there, John. A lot of the stuff in the budget doesn't actually go into effect for at least 2024. So it does seem that Jeremy Hunt has set a lot of traps to essentially try and constrict Labour. So, and of course they can undo it. There's nothing stopping them from doing it. And I think potentially they would, because I think they've got a lot more better ideas in terms of sort of funding and sort of, generating funding. We've talked before about, Labour needs to start selling the idea of a wealth tax on the top 1% of, earners, and start certainly going after, the way that rich people earn their money, which isn't through a wage. They earn it through essentially dividends. And dividends practically have no tax on them at all. The non-dom, I think, could become a potentially big issue. I think the Labour has already signalled that they intend to make it one at the next general election. So, yeah, things could get very interesting, I think, very quickly, because Sunak can't govern, and there's many Tories. So really, when we get a general election, becomes the question of just sheer momentum. How many Tories just go, screw it, let's just go for a general election? Because there's a lot of Tories hoping that at least at the next general election, they can just scrape by with 250 seats. That's not a win by any means, but as one Tory said very recently, it was enough to keep them in the game. Enough to be a thorn in Labour's side and in opposition. So that seems to be the aim. So if opinion polls start, shall we say, trending maybe in favour of, Sunak and the Tories, then potentially we could see, at that point, that's when we could see a general election get triggered. So that's what we're looking at. But it's what causes this. And bear in mind, this rebellion, if it doesn't get sorted out and get stopped, bear in mind you have anti-Tory rebels against sort of Tory rebels and all these different factions in the Conservative Party vying for so many different things. It is going to be very interesting watching what happens to the Tory party, not only over the next couple of months, but certainly over the next year. It is going to be very, very interesting just watching what happens. And then the other thing that I've said is, depending on how hard they lose, because I think even if they lose, the Tories are going to go into some form of civil war, because the Tories really do not have a sense of direction. Because beyond Rishi Sunak sort of passing the budget and getting it done, as I've said this before, what's Sunak's goal? Well, is it growth? Well, where's his growth plan? Is it to lower inflation? Where's the plan for that? There's all these ideas, or at least directions that they want to go, but there is no majority for that direction in the Tory party, and that spells a lot of trouble. And we've seen very recently the MPs that had the whip removed from them, that are no longer in the parliamentary party but still very much in the Conservative Party, have started to make some very interesting noises. And it is very, very much targeting the pro-EU movement in the Conservative Party, and trying to at least unseat and unsettle the Brexiteers in the party, because that becomes very interesting. But ahoy to the Chthonic there, and 91 leads. I didn't see you slip in there as well, but yes, good morning to anyone for joining us who I haven't seen slip in yet. I say good morning to you. Remember to hit that like and share button. Like I say, it helps out the channel. Whoop, there we go. And I think post a Tory defeat, I think you're going to see a lot of discomfort in the Tory party. This is partly why I've really started watching. Oh, g'day to you. Is that Crowban? I think it was. Hang on. Let me just wade through this mud. Oh. Squelch, squelch, squelch. There we go. Better. So, the more they fight, now especially, the more it damages their election chances, because you are going to get what we call blue on blue, which is, you know, Tories fighting other Tories. And this was one of the main reasons. Oh, Patrick, good morning to you. Number 3, it's amazing anyone can walk around a field and be able to do a live stream as well. Well, it's the magic of technology. Like I say, it's the magic of technology. But I think the more they fight each other, the more it damages their chances. And they're already fighting each other right now. And if you may remember the Chesham and Amersham by-election, one of the reasons that was cited for them losing that by-election was the fact that they were infighting during that by-election when it was going on. So I am the magic of technology. Yes, but you can see a live stream next to a live stream. I don't know if you can tell, certainly from here, but we have had a lot of rain the past sort of couple of weeks. The fields over there it sort of drained off and then it's sort of filled again, so we can't go that way, which is annoying. But yes, a lot of flood warnings recently. Luckily we're all right here because we are, well, I say, as you can see, we are on very elevated ground. But of course, you've still got areas that can potentially flood. Like I say, that field being one. And I don't know if you remember, if we'll go back, the bit where we sort of do the dip, down and up, that area was flooded, if you remember, not too long ago. In fact, last year, roughly around this time, in fact. That was full of water and we couldn't cross it. In fact, some of you remember when it was frozen as well. Pretty Bird, greetings to you. And of course, the other thing that I don't know when I'm going to do a video about it yet, but don't worry, I am watching it, is I'm sure you've seen or at least heard of the big PPE scandal about a Tory peer receiving a large amount of money to essentially put a company in the fast lane for PPE. And one of the things that I've said that we need to, another PPE scandal, one of the things that we need to really push for, and it was certainly called up yesterday when this was brought up by Angela Rayner. And by the way, I just want to acknowledge the fact, Angela Rayner once again doing an absolutely fantastic job in holding sort of the Tories' feet to the fire. She did an absolutely fantastic job yesterday in doing that. So if you saw that. But there's still news about this scandal coming in. So it is by no means seems to be finished yet. But this could become a really big thing. Because now, as we already know, there are many of these PPE scandals. But this is sort of the first one that's really been linked to sort of someone who is, a member of the Tory party. And if you may remember, back when we were talking about some of this stuff, we did say, or at least, there were rumours of, scandals yet to come. So this could be very well just unload. The more this unravels, if this, comes into a bigger sort of issue, and hopefully it certainly should do, then I think this will really unnerve the Tories. Because the entire PPE scandal is certainly something that Labour can throw directly at the Conservative Party, certainly at the next general election. So if I were Labour, I'd be calling for an inquiry, and certainly a public inquiry, so that the Tories can't, fill the committee with Tories and sort of kill it. What's that? He's posted that we shouldn't always believe what we hear. Yeah. Yeah, very true. But one of the things that is linked to this is, remember, Rishi Sunak cancelled all that money, all that debt. He wiped that away that these people owe from these PPE scandals. So it becomes a wider question of, do we have potentially yet another Prime Minister? Because I'll tell you now, if Sunak is linked in any way to some of these PPE scandals, oh boy, that's gonna go down very, very badly, very, very badly indeed. But it's just a matter of Sunak already has a criminal record. Very true. Very true, Catholic, very true. But if he is connected in any way to these PPE scandals, it becomes very, very interesting. Who's next on the carousel of PMs? Wild ponies. Very true, yes. They are looking very wild and windswept at the moment, I will say that. Was Sunak Chancellor when all this cash was being handed out? Yes and no. But like I say, you've certainly won to sort of cancel all that debt and wipe it off. So that must be at least viewed, and I think the question should be asked to Parliament. I'm not sure if it is, but I don't think there is any sort of connections. Like I say, at the moment, that is just me saying, well, why did Rishi Sunak cancel all this debt? Is it because that it is a huge scandal that's going to be very embarrassing to the Tory party, so they're trying to cover their tracks? That is me being very, very conspiratorial. I will say that now. And if there is no, evidence to it, then yeah, I will find and I will own up to it, saying, yeah, I'm being very conspiratorial there about it. But it's all, to me, a bit far too convenient. And I think it's something that needs to be looked into. And remember, this is being part of the COVID inquiry itself, looking into sort of all the waste that happened. But I think in terms of the PPE scandals, that needs to be looked into separately. And I think we need to start pushing for an inquiry to look into these separately. So, yeah, it becomes now sort of the push for that. And I would hope that it would be something that Labour would do, because it would certainly put a lot of pressure on the Tories. And like I say, this is what I was talking about, by the way. If you remember, I said there was a part that was flooded. Like I say, last time it flooded quite badly up here. All this, and I'd be at least up to here roughly if I were to walk down here and it was flooded. If you, like I say, those of you who remember the Good Morning Walk at that time will remember that definitely. So, it's like I say, it's a very interesting time, to be honest, because you've got Sunak, who effectively cannot pass any legislation, even though he has, there we go, even though he has a massive majority. Oh, look, his children, good morning to you. So even though he has such a massive majority, it's one of those things where it's like, and you can't govern with that majority. That's a bit, that doesn't send good signs. And like I said, I think there will just come a point, I think next year, where maybe there are just one too many rebellions brewing. And I think that's what it will come to. Oh, good morning to you. Sorry you're late. Well, don't worry about it, Mithril. Like I say, today's an extra special good morning walk, because like I say, I can't do one tomorrow, because I'm going to be in Manchester tomorrow. In fact, I'm going to be in Manchester later, actually. I say I'll be off to Manchester because it's the JCI UK National Convention, and yeah, I'm going to be receiving my shade of office for next year. So next year especially, there's probably going to be a lot of good morning walks, certainly in new, vibrant and crazy locations. But of course, as you all already know, whenever I seem to go on holiday, or at least anywhere out of the country, the government just collapses. So my first jaunt, by the way, is going to be in February. So, you know, if the government collapses in early February, well, it continues my long streak of going away and the government just absolutely collapsing into pieces. Like I say, it happened when I went to Bruges, happened when I went to Ireland, to a point where I was like, am I even going to land back and get back in time for Theresa May, Liz Truss to resign? Luckily I was. Oh. But yeah, it's yeah, feel free to travel sooner then. Potentially. I'm Daniel Bake. Inland wind power blocked for levelling up. For offshore wind farmers not levelling up. Why is it when the government says it will do one thing, it's just the opposite of it? Well, that's what the rebellion is over. There's currently about 50 Tories rebelling over that. That's why that hasn't happened. That's why that's happened. And the more that happens, the more Sunak cannot govern. You know, that bill was due to be put forward on Monday to go to a vote. And now it can't happen because you've got 50 Tory rebels trying to extract concessions from Sunak. And then you've got another, as of yet unknown number of Tory rebels angry at the fact that Sunak might make concessions to those rebels. And that's just one bill, and this has happened so early. And I think the question still stands, will Sunak be able to pass his budget? Well, we don't know. We'll have to see what happens. I think the Tories are going to pass it, because I think them not passing it would certainly be very bad. Carl, good morrow, kind sir. Well, good morrow to you, Carl. So, John's here for some bovine action. So at this point, it all comes back to the fact of Sunak cannot govern when he is the leader of a Conservative Party that has a majority of, I think it's like 82, 83. Just imagine that for a second. That you are the leader of the Conservative Parliamentary Party, and even though you have that big a majority, you cannot govern the way you want to. Why? Because your party is so internally split that no one trusts anyone. And we're going to be doing a video later on today, because I am very worried about what's going to happen, because I thought there might be consequences for this. So ever since Sunak came in, he has been at least promoting a lot more, shall we say, harmonious noises with the EU, you know, toning down completely the rhetoric of Brexit and being willing to negotiate. And as such, we've seen, even from negotiators, even from the EU, saying that there is now significant progress being made on a deal with the Northern Ireland Protocol to essentially sort that out. And of course, what happened last weekend? Well, someone briefed the Sunday Telegraph that the government wanted a Swiss-style deal, to which the Brexiteers went into an absolute hissy fit this week. They have been in an absolute hissy fit. They have been in complete and utter panic mode this week. And what's been the consequences? Well, Steve Barker, Steve Barker, the once former head of the ERG, but still very much a bigwig, shall we say, in the Tory hardcore Brexiteer movement, has now said that the UK should renegotiate. Steve Baker, yeah, that's it, yeah. Oh, the other one, yeah, wrong Steve. Yeah, wrong Steve. So yeah, so Steve Baker is now coming out saying the UK should completely renegotiate the Northern Ireland Protocol. So all that good mood music we've been hearing for the past couple of weeks has been, well, potentially completely thrown down the pan. So thanks very much, Steve. Thanks very much for that. We were making some actual good progress for once. And yet someone had to go and ruin it and rile up the Brexiteers. This all sounds very ignorant. The EU won't do it. Well, this is it. I don't think the EU will do a Swiss-style deal, but they're more than willing to do deals. I just don't think it'll be a Swiss-style deal. And it may have been, as someone said, recently when we went over the sort of the conservative viewpoint of this, they said that they think that government figure misquoted themselves when they said, the government's going to do a Swiss-style deal. So, needless to say, it's all become a bit of a mess. And now, even more funnily, because of this, the Brexiteers don't trust Rishi Sunak. This is how crazy it gets. The Brexiteers do not trust Rishi Sunak, who is a dyed-in-the-wool Brexiteer right from the get-go, but they're more willing to trust Liz Truss, who was a Remainer from the get-go. Honestly, nope. I think our entire politics at the moment is going to go crazy again, and I think it's going to be very much in the new year. Like I say, I think next year we're going to get a general election. He can't hold out. He generally can't. His party's going to be completely ungovernable. I think there's going to be such a drive and desire for one, especially from the general public, even among the Tory voters. It's just a matter of when does Sunak do it. And I think it all depends on the opinion polls. But then again, like I say, Theresa May did a general election based on opinion polls, and look what happened to her. Say, just because the opinion polls say this, what happened in the general election as what happened to Theresa May could very well happen to Sunak and the Conservatives. Because when you call a general election, general elections always tend to be about something. And the thing is, the Tories really haven't got anything to talk about come the next general election. Levelling up hasn't exactly wowed anyone, or even been properly implemented. And then the Brexit deal that Boris has done is that bad. It is doing incredible harm to our economy, GDP, our traders and manufacturers. So they haven't exactly got Brexit done. And then what else have they done? Well, their party completely crashed the economy. Even though Rishi Sunak will say that wasn't me, lots of people are not going to forgive certainly the Tories for doing that. That's certainly for sure. So it becomes very, very much a Mexican standoff at the moment in the Tory party. No one wants to blink. No one wants to take a breath and talk about something, because they're all worried that if they look away even for a second, they'll get shot. There we go. Ponies having their breakfast. There you go. So yeah, like I say, guys, have an absolutely fantastic weekend. We're hearing the rationing of eggs in egg shops in England. Yes, that is true, Chris. That is true. Partly because of a bird flu outbreak that has happened. So yeah, if that mutates, 2020 again, anyway. So I generally don't know sort of how long Sunak can survive. I think it will be just a case of that there is one rebellion too many, or there's enough rebel Tory MPs out there that just get together and just say, sod it, let's just go for a general election. That is entirely possible. So it's it could all go very, very quickly. And the fact that you've got such a significant rebellion already, with a levelling up bill of about 50 Tory MPs already rebelling against Rishi Sunak this quickly, well, the honeymoon period is officially over then. And then it's just a question of how long can he last. And you are right, they're not going to change their leader again. They know that they cannot get away with that. They know that next time they'd have to go for a general election. There's no way they can get out of it. So we'll see. We'll have to see what happens. But yes, enjoy your weekend. Have an absolutely fantastic one. Go out, enjoy yourselves, and as always, if you can't be safe, be sensible. I'm going to be out in Manchester this, like I said, this weekend. I've got the UK JCI UK National Convention, so that is going to be fun. So yeah, that's going to be sort of fun. Like I said, I'm going to go back and record some videos for you all for the weekend to have do some. I don't know if I'll do any videos from Manchester. I'll just to see how busy I am, because I'm going to be involved in helping sort of running the convention as well. So the minute I land in Manchester this afternoon, I've got to go and start preparing for all the stuff, make sure it's all ready. So yeah, I'm going to be a very, very busy boy this weekend. So as always, guys, have an absolutely fantastic weekend. Please do remember to hit the like, share and subscribe button on your way out. And of course, as always, down below there are links to my Patreon page, my automation link called Buy Me Coffee, where you can buy me coffee. And of course, the YouTube thank you button as well down below. And of course, all the other stuff while you're there. Visit Museum of Working Man while you're there. I'll see if I can. I don't know whether I'm going to have the time, to be honest, unfortunately, Mithril. I'd like to, but never mind. Just how it goes, unfortunately, just super busy. But as always, we'll see you very soon. As always, next weekend for the Good Morning Walk, where we'll be out here again. As always, we'll have the Wednesday live stream. If anything significant happens, as always, we will go live and we'll do all that, cool stuff. As always, talk about what's going on. And yeah, watch out for more videos coming out this week. Like I say, the next video, certainly this evening, is going to be about what the ERG are up to in response to obviously last weekend's announcement from the government about looking for a Swiss-style deal. Needs to say, The ERG are certainly not happy by that statement coming out from, quote, senior sources or senior insiders in the government. So very interesting indeed. But as always, guys, like I say, thank you very much for watching. And of course, we'll see you all next time for another Good Morning Walk.